Hi there, this is Rob at Reason101.net, and I'm sorry I've been away for a little while, but I've been gearing up for the holidays, and I have a new CD that's going to be coming out shortly. But in any event, I just wanted to show you a couple of different techniques that you can use on your Thor oscillators in Reason. And this came out of some conversations that I've been having back and forth with Jeff Wakefield from the Reason user forum, and he suggested this idea, so I kind of took it to a couple of different. I went down a couple of different roads with the idea. Basically, this is what I came up with, which is three of Thor's oscillators playing against each other and going through their carrier waves, their mod waves, their wavetables, and all kinds of stuff. So I'll just play it for you now, let you listen to it a little bit. So there's a lot of modulation going on in this, and I'm going to kind of show you how this is all worked out. And a big thanks to Jeff for coming up with this idea and sending me down a couple of different interesting roads. So first thing we're going to do is create a combinator. Inside the combinator, we're going to create a Thor, and then underneath that, we're going to hold our Shift key down, and we're going to create a Maelstrom. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these rotary labels and button labels so we can easily see what we're going to do to it. Okay. Now in here we're going to change, the only thing we're going to really change here, we're going to change this to be phase modulation. Actually no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an FM pair. I'm going to raise the decay, raise the sustain, and raise the release. And right now it sounds like this. Okay, very simple, not much to go with there. So let's start playing around with this. Let's open up our modulation here. Let's go to Thor. Let's have rotary 1 affect the oscillator's FM pair carrier, and then rotary 2 is going to go into the oscillator and it's going to affect the FM pair modulator. We're going to flip this around. We're going to have mod A going into rotary 1, and we're going to raise rotary 1's trim knob all the way up. We're also going to have raise rotary 2 all the way up, and we're going to have that cable going from mod B. And now you'll see everything's changing according to these oscillators here. Also, while you're at it, you might want to turn off all the extraneous stuff that you don't need. It might save you a couple of CPU cycles. And right now, you'll see when we play it, definitely has some changes going on. Let's also sync up. So now it's synced to the tempo. We'll change the rates a little bit so that we have a little bit of a different rate. Okay, not too bad. Now we'll go into the Maelstrom, and for the Maelstrom we're going to take rotary 3, and we're going to have it be the oscillator, or we're going to have it be the modulator A curve, and then rotary 4 is going to be the modulator B curve. And we're going to change this around so we'll have one going one way and the other one going the other way, and that's what these two are going to be. So this is going to be your carrier. This is going to be your modulator. This is going to be mod A from the Maelstrom, and this is going to be mod B from the Maelstrom. So now we're going to have a little bit more fun here. Now we can change up the modulations, change up the curves. Okay, so now we've got some interest going on over here. The other thing I would do is maybe also take, let's say, LFO2, and we'll have that affecting oscillator 1's FM amount, and maybe change the curve to be something a little bit different, change the rate a little bit. So in this way you can create some really interesting sounds just by doing that. Now, another thing you can do is instead of the FM pair, we can also change this to be the phase modulation. And in this case, the only thing you have to do is change the first and second on the Thor. So instead of affecting BFM pair carrier, which isn't going to do anything, go back in and change this to be your phase modulation wave 1, and change this to be your phase modulation wave 2. And now that's what's going to change. So when you play it, you get some really funky sounds out of it, right? The other thing you can do is you can change your PM amount all the way up. And change your LF2 going negative 100, so it's going backward now. Okay, so that's kind of some interesting things that you can do with these. The one I like best, though, out of all of these tricks is using a wavetable. And the way we can use a wavetable, let's get rid of this for now. And the wavetable, you're going to take rotary 1, and you're going to change it to be the oscillator wavetable. And rotary 2, we can have that, actually that's not going to do anything. But what we can do, what I want is I want to be able to affect the position as well. So when you go in, if you notice, you go into the oscillator, you can't affect the wavetable's position here. Okay, it doesn't let you do it. So what you can do is you can flip this around. Let's steal mod B, and we'll have that going into CV1. And now we'll turn this around, and in here we'll have CV1 input number 1. We'll have the amount 100, and we will have this affect oscillator 1's position, and we'll move this down. Okay, so now and this isn't going to do anything, so we'll just relabel this. Okay, the only thing it's affecting is the wavetable, which is what this is. Okay, so you can get some really interesting sounds out of this if you want. And where things start to get really funky is when you start playing around with what I did over here, which is when you open it up, you'll see that there's 3 different Thors, and there's 3 different Malstroms that are affecting those Thors with a little bit of reverb thrown in, and you have some very interesting sounds that can come out of this, which I will just go back. Okay, and once you start equalizing all of these, you'll see that I've got one that's targeted towards the mid-range. I've got another one that's targeted towards getting the low end, and then I've got the other one that's targeted towards getting the high ends, and they balance out together, and that's what you get. So lots of fun that you can have with these. In the next session, maybe I'll talk about how to create this kind of a combinator for you. But for now, that's just one simple way that you can play around with these Thor oscillators that you might not have thought about. So I hope this leads you to some new creative heights. And once again, come visit me. I'm Rob, and you can visit me at reason101.net. Thanks a lot for your time.